Welcome everybody. There's a weird angle to talk. All right, welcome to the first full self-driving beta video that I'll be doing on my channel. So today we're in beautiful Austin, Texas, right in the middle of the Texas Longhorn University of Austin campus. On my left is the Longhorn Stadium, and that's where they play college football. Beautiful stadium. I went to Penn State and that stadium looks way nicer than ours from the outside especially. But anyway, so real quick, just to show you guys, we're on FSD beta 10.10, 2021.44.30.15. Last updated as of February 8th, 3:10. And for today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a drive around the city of Austin. We're going to start here at the University of Austin campus, and we're going to head over to Franklin Barbecue. Then we'll do the Capital of Texas building right in the heart of Austin, and then we'll come back to campus here to complete our trip. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in drive. I want to make this bigger so y'all can see this a little bit easier, and then once I get the wheel, we're gonna go full self-driving. So off we go. I'm just gonna push it along here just to get it started. Looks like it's a pretty wide road, not a lot of lane markings, so I think, oh yeah, see, that's already a weird start. But let's see where we go from here. All right, so we're gonna make a left. So yeah, I've had early builds of this car when I used to work at Tesla. So we got some pedestrian here, traffic here. Let's see how it handles this. So we're in the middle of the intersection. Looks like we're just waiting for visibility. I'm just gonna start pushing it along here. Okay, off we go. So over there, I had to kind of push it along. I had somebody behind me, and yeah, I just figured I'd move it along a little bit. So yeah, that was a sudden stop. I don't know why. It's kind of a rough start here. A lot of pedestrian traffic. Obviously, the car is going to be as safe as it possibly can. I'm going to push it along to the stop sign here, just so at least we can get that. All right, we're at the stop sign, and off it goes. Yeah, the one thing that I noticed with all the full self-driving builds so far is that the car is extremely, so here it's kind of confused, doesn't know what to do. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, so I have to take over here. There was literally, they couldn't see the middle lane there, but it should have kept going straight. So I have it back on full self-driving. Yep, squeeze right there. We have a stop sign coming up here. Yeah, the one thing is with pedestrians, when there's heavy pedestrian traffic, usually the car is very, very careful because it doesn't want to crash into anything. And these stop signs too, it's navigating really slowly, so I try to push it along a little bit just to get it going. So over here, the parking situation is a little odd since folks, their butts are encroaching on the lane a little bit, so the car doesn't quite know how to handle that. And over here, we're gonna go left lane, which it found pretty nicely. So that was actually pretty good. Yeah, in this area of the campus, the lane markings aren't great, but a human would be able to discern those situations much better than the car did. So not a great start so far, but we didn't hit anything or anybody, so that's not bad. And I did have to intervene once fully and push it along a couple times. So yeah, so while we wait, I can kind of talk about my time here in Austin. So we moved here in October of 2020, and right outside of the Austin metro area towards the north, and we love it. We absolutely love it here. The people are super nice. The barbecue is delicious. Hopefully as we drive towards Franklin Barbecue here, y'all can get a little waft of the delicious brisket that they make over there. But yeah, it's been a great time. Really enjoying our time here in Austin, Texas, and A lot of things to do, especially outdoor. And so today is February 8th, I believe, on a Tuesday. Is that right? Do I know my days? Yeah, February 8th on a Tuesday. And it's 3:15 in the afternoon local time, so central time. It's 67 degrees and beautifully sunny. So it's green. I'm pushing it along because it didn't seem like it recognized the light. And this is a pretty tight left turn, so pushing it along. Okay. So I was able to complete the turn, but I had to push it along to enter the intersection. And then ahead, as you can see on the left lane, it merges right, and there's quite a bit of traffic coming up, and there's a car on my right. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to get handled, because it does need to go on the right lane. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do here. I think I'm going to take over here, because I don't think the car is recognizing that it has to go on the right lane. So you can see there's so many different situations on a road that the full self-driving beta has to learn. Like, you know, kind of like get to a point where, hey, I need to merge right before sort of this thing ends. Otherwise, I'm going to be that person all the way up front where I'm just going to keep getting past. Human behavior, right? I don't really know from a traffic perspective if that's technically what you're supposed to be doing. I believe it is. You're supposed to really merge up to the point of where you're heading. We had a little, I don't know why we're going to the right here. It's trying to avoid some sort of obstacles. Okay. Yeah, it keeps wanting to go to the right. I don't know why. But yeah, it's sort of like, you know, proper traffic behavior versus actual human behavior, right? And which one will the car do? So that's where things can get a little hairy with how the car behaves and traffic around it. So we're gonna make a right here. It's no yield, so technically this is our lane. Let's see if it takes it. Okay. So it pushed itself to the left lane. We got quite a bit of traffic up there, so we'll see how the car behaves in that environment. Okay. Yeah, and it being 3:18, you are going to have folks starting to leave work in some areas, so the traffic, we are going to have some traffic. Obviously, this is nothing crazy, but we're going to definitely have cars whipping around, and that's going to introduce some interesting things for the car to behave around. All right, so we need to, I tapped it very, very lightly just to push the car along. It's going kind of slow through the intersection here, so I'm going to push it along a little bit. All right. Yeah, so it's trying to get on the left, and it did pretty damn close to that tow vehicle, which actually I'm not mad about, because it did try to squeeze itself. And now here it's speeding up and slowing down, so that's okay. I wouldn't have sped up if it was me, and it's to get on the left lane at some point over here in the next 1/10 of a mile. Let's see if it gets on the left lane. It sure did. And we got a green light, so it should just complete the turn. Let's see how it does. Whoops. Yeah, see, that's just very odd behavior. I'm not really sure why it did that. Probably try to get a better angle, but those sudden movements are very unnatural, obviously. And we've made it to Franklin's Barbecue. Looks like the person here is kind of taking up some of the lane. Thank you. That was kind of a cut it kind of close there, but anyway. All right, we made it to Franklin's Barbecue in one piece. So now let's go ahead and put our destination for the Capitol building. Pretty close by, shouldn't be too far of a drive. We'll probably add another stop here for our journey. We'll find a place to go towards before we go back up to campus. But all right, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going from, man, it smells so good here, guys. I really, man, it smells so good. We got some pedestrians here. It's gonna stop. Yeah, very good. Very good. So I'm gonna push it along. Yeah, it's just very cautious, very, very cautious around pedestrians, which I'm not mad about at all. I'm not mad about, you know, it's obviously great behavior. You don't want, the last thing you want this car to do when it's driving itself is to hit a person, but it seems like it could use a little bit of help with predicting human movements a little bit better. But I think until it gets to that point, you know, being safe is probably the right thing to do. All right. Got some construction on the right here, which should have avoided. I'm gonna make a left. Now the traffic opposing, can we make a left here? I think we can. Yeah, there's some construction, so this is kind of confusing, right? So it doesn't know where to go. We gotta go this way. I don't blame the car there too much. Like there's nothing in front of that thing outside of that car. Like I would recognize that I shouldn't go there, but you know, there's nothing in front of that construction that would say that at least that I noticed on first pass. I'm curious to see if it shows up on the video here, but yeah, we got some construction on the right as well. There's some stuff going on here with buildings. Let's see if it chooses the right lane to go into. It seems like it wants to go in the correct lane. Yeah, see some traffic. I'm just gonna let it do its thing. I'm not pressing anything. Okay, all right. So it made it slowly, but it made it over to the good. That was good behavior. All right. Someone's honking up there. I don't know if you all heard it, but somebody's mad. Somebody's mad. And this one's going to be pretty straight. The Capitol building is going to be on the right here, so it's going to be nothing too crazy. Maybe what we'll do is we'll go maybe to one of the lakes nearby here in the city, maybe one of the parks, and then we'll shoot back straight up to the to campus. All right, so it's going to put us in the right lane because we've arrived. All right, so I'm going to park the car here real quick. Four-ways on, and then we're going to choose a new destination. Okay, our new destination is going to be Zilker Park, which is one of the local parks here in Austin. Beautiful place. I believe it's during Christmas time, they have this light show. I'm just gonna put the car back into the street and then I'll put on, there you go, so we're on. They have this crazy light show during the Christmas time, and I believe it was Zilker Park, where my wife and I went and checked. So this car is getting a little close to the other car here, so I deactivated autopilot because it was getting kind of close to the person on the left. I wasn't comfortable with that. It's getting on the left lane, and so see, this is, I pushed it along because it cut in front of the person in front of us. I don't really know why. Yeah, I mean, I know why. I know why. It's because it needs to make a left up there, but yeah. So I guess I don't want to fault it too badly. I also want to be sort of even-handed here, right? I don't want to be too critical of the software because it is beta, but at the same time, I am looking at it from the lens of somebody that has worked at Tesla, and so I'm trying my best to be objective, right? So if I see something that needs to behave a little bit better, I'm going to call it out. So I don't think that's a bad thing. I think if anything, that helps highlight things that need to be a little bit more natural, that perhaps are not obvious on camera. So all right, making a left into the, yeah, super weird behavior here. That was super odd. I think it was confused because it was trying to get into the right lane. So here I'm going to manually get this car. Well, I'm actually going to let it do its thing and see what happens, because it's probably going to miss the right turn there. So the weird thing there is that it went all the way into the left lane. right? But in the next block here, it needs to make a right. And so what's probably going to end up happening, and I have a cop behind me, so I'm actually going to deactivate it here because I feel like it's going to do something odd, which I'm not comfortable with. So I'm just going to squeeze myself here on the right lane, and we're going to make the right for the car, and then we'll put it back on. Yeah, what I don't want to do is get stuck. You know, I definitely want to let full self-driving do its thing, but if I don't feel like it's going to achieve a certain maneuver, I'm not going to do it, and when I feel like it's not going to be the correct outcome, especially around police. All right, four-way stop, very good. No rolling stops, y'all. Sorry. You got taken away for safety. Another four-way stop. Off we go. So squeeze to the right there a little bit, maybe because it was going over a hill and it was unsure of upcoming traffic, but nothing too jarring. Just, again, just slightly unnatural as compared to a human driver. Okay, so we are in the left lane, in the correct lane, rather. And there was a person there crossing the street right as we were passing them, and the car didn't do anything weird. Here, we're stopping a little bit before the line. It's kind of creeping up to the line here. All right, we are about to make a left on Lamar, and Lamar is another spot here in the city that has some cool spots, some cool restaurants, cool shops, real nice places. And then when I should have taken you guys through Congress. Maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll go through Congress after we hit Zilker, and then we'll take it back to the campus. Yeah, so far the start was rocky because I put it on purpose in a situation that's going to have heavy pedestrian traffic and weird roads and weird sort of construction situations on purpose, because, you know, that's how you gauge performance. When I was driving it around my local neighborhood, I did notice some pretty good improvements, and I wanted to test it in the city for the first time with 10.10, and this is what the result is. So, you know, if it behaves weirdly, it behaves weirdly. It is what it is. Still beta, and Tesla's working on it. So what a beautiful day. 67 degrees and sunny in the beginning of February. I come from Pennsylvania, and right now the weather out there would be not very nice. It'd be pretty cold. It's probably, you know, below 32 degrees and I'm just pushing it along a little bit in these intersections. Okay. Just ever so slightly. And then another thing too that I do, the reason why I do put inputs, probably more often than other folks that might have videos on YouTube, is that I do want to record. I want Tesla to have the data around those exceptions, right? I want to provide the speed up feedback so that, you know, Tesla has a data set that says, hey, when I'm going through an intersection, it should be going a little bit, you know, a little bit quicker, a little bit more hastily, right? So that it can clear the intersection safely. So those are data sets that I submit, obviously through what I do. So if it's doing something that is obviously not what I would do, I intervene and I try to input that information so that they have it, right? And then Tesla can decide if it's proper behavior or not on their end. You know, but the more data, the better. Okay, heading over to the right because we got to make a right up on Barton Springs, and we're slowing down. Okay. Not bad, not bad. All right, here's Lake Austin over the bridge, left and right. I'm not sure if you guys saw it on camera, but actually Ladybird Lake, technically. I believe. See, I'm still getting familiar with Tesla a little bit, or Austin a little bit. I mean, I think it is technically Lake Travis, but it's probably, no, it's Ladybird Lake for sure, because that's where people go swimming. So that's Barton Creek, and it flows into Ladybird Lake. But here's a fun fact about Austin and lakes. All these lakes are really just the Colorado River, and they've subsegmented them into different lakes. And so when you hear Lake Travis, Lake Austin, Ladybird Lake, these are all just segments of the Colorado River. And, you know, they've named them different names so that, you know, I guess so they know which part of the lake they want to hit, right? Which is kind of smart, but they're technically not lakes. Well, some of them are because they are dammed. I guess technically they are lakes, but I'm not an expert in lakes. I'm not an expert in lakes, so what I'm saying right now, I'm not even sure if it makes any sense. So if there's any lake experts out there in the comments, drop some comments in the section here below and let me know how bad my lake knowledge is. All right, we're making a right here on Barton Springs. Should be a pretty straightforward, yeah, not bad. Actually pretty good, smooth, safe speeds. I like it. And that's one thing I've noticed, right? So on well-marked roads with predictable traffic, the car behaves really well. It really does, you know? Whoop. Just as I say that, I got really close to the guy there on my left. That was weird. I'm just jinxing this whole thing, aren't I? Yeah. But it really does. I mean, there are exceptions, obviously, that happen, but for the most part, it has pretty good behavior. But there are small percentages, as you can see. If you total up the percentage of time we've been driving by the percentage of times I've had to intervene, it's still a very small percentage, but you know, those percentages are very obvious, especially for somebody who expects a technology like this to be a full replacement, right? So all these little things, especially like what just happened there, it needs to be smoothed out. It needs to be accounted for. We have a biker on the right. This is going to be interesting. What's going to happen here? I'm going to be very attentive. Okay, so it's squeezed to the left a little bit to pass him. Okay, that was awesome. That was actually pretty freaking good. That was great. I'm very happy about that. And it was avoiding the car in front of us as well. So the guy on the left here, and sometimes what happens is Texas drivers sometimes, I guess it's driving like a Texas driver. Okay, we're at the park on the right here. So it took me off of, well, I took it off of autopilot because we're literally about to arrive there. So let me go ahead and put in, we're gonna go back to the Capitol actually. Actually, no, we're gonna go, let me see if I can find, let me try to pull over here and then put in our next address, and then I'll be right back. All right, we're going to our new destination, which is Swift's Attic, and that is right on Congress, which is one of my favorite roads and one of my favorite restaurants in all of Austin. So right now the car's trying to get on the left lane and it's trying to find a correct spot. So let's see if it, yep. So that was actually great. I'm actually very happy about that. So the car knew it needed to get on the left. It found the spot ahead of it to intervene, that's probably the wrong word, to get in, and then it did that. So that was good. I'm gonna cool it down here. It's getting hot, man. Freaking, who knew? Who knew it was gonna get hot in February in Texas? Actually, probably everybody knows. All right, so we should be on a, yeah, so it's gonna decide to go on this lane to make a left. So it knows to make a U-turn? Is that what it's trying to do? So it's stopped. Yeah, so this is, Texas has these like U-turn lanes which is technically correct, but that's not how it's mapped on the map. So I wonder what the confusion there was for the car. But that's okay. Okay. Yeah, that was odd, because those lanes can be confusing. I mean, I've gotten confused by those lanes constantly. So, and it didn't seem to be well marked that it was going to be the sort of loop around turn. So I don't fault the car for doing that, or it wasn't obvious. So, all right. So now we're on the highway. We're on Texas 1, which is a loop. And now we're going to go towards Cesar Chavez Street, which is downtown Austin, near Rainey Street and 6th Street and all those other spots in Austin that are pretty well known. Okay. So we should stay on the right. Let's see if it does. Perfect. Very good. I would have probably put my blinker there because there was a straight. The lane also went straight and you could veer right, but that's okay. It's not like most people use their blinkers anyway, so maybe the Tesla's trying to fit in as a Texan. And I wonder that too sometimes. I wonder how much of the behavior in a specific like city dictates, the behavior of Tesla, like, because it has a lot of the, I'm going to speed this up a little bit, just it looks like traffic's flowing quite a bit faster than the speed limit, so I'm just going to try to match the flow. Yeah, like, does the Model Y, are Teslas driving like Californians? Like, are they driving like New Yorkers? I wonder where most of the data is coming from. It would make sense, right? If a lot of the data is being fed by a specific by your largest customer base, it probably makes sense that the car is going to behave like the folks, like it has the idiosyncrasies of the people that drive in those areas. So, interesting thought. I don't know if anybody has the answer to that, but it would be very, very interesting. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but as I'm driving around, there's so many skyscrapers going up. And I don't know how many of them we got on camera as we were driving around, but when we came down in October, or really, it was back in summer of 2020, we came to visit the area before we moved, and we were at a hotel downtown. We were on one of the upper floors, and we counted like 17 cranes. And 2 years later, like half of them are like built, or in the process of being built. And some of those obviously were already in the process of being built, but it kind of tells you how quickly this city is growing. And there was a pretty significant homelessness situation in downtown, and a lot of tents, like especially on this road here on Cesar Chavez, on the left and the right, especially on the really on both sides, there were quite a bit of tents, like right here. And they passed a law last year where they banned outdoor camping, but fortunately they did have measures in place, obviously, to house the homeless in hotels and other shelters. So it seems to have worked pretty well. So the city, not that it felt unsafe before, but when you don't have tents on the street, obviously you do feel a certain additional level of safety. And it's just, it's just going to be cleaner because you have less potential for folks, not taking care of the street. So I think the residents are pretty happy with it. I don't live in the city, so I can't speak specifically how the residents feel, I guess, per se, but I do hear from folks that they're pretty happy with the changes, and hopefully the folks that were camping out here have found a new place, and they're able to, hopefully get themselves back on their feet and chase their dreams, chase their passions. So Looks like we got some photo shoot or somebody's recording something down on the left, the city hall. Okay, so the cars, and so this is one odd behavior, right? So we're kind of blocking the intersection here, and it's green, but we're blocking the intersection. So what I would have done, I would have stopped at the line, knowing that I was going to block the intersection, but the car, you know, in case the traffic in front of me doesn't move, and then, you know, we get a red light, and then I'm stuck, potentially in the middle of the intersection, but that's okay. No harm, no foul. Maybe I'm going to sneak up a little bit just to allow this guy to kind of enter the, exit the intersection there. Okay. All right, so we should not be on the left lane right now, and it's going to be on the left lane. It's going to speed up. Yep, I'm going to intervene. We have to force the left here because it got itself in the left lane. It was a left-only turn, no problem. Okay. Obviously, not proper behavior, and it wasn't super obvious that that lane was a left-only turn. I'll review it on the thing again once I view this thing. So okay, let's see if it does this right-hand turn. So, okay, so this is a right on red, which is exactly what I would do, and it's taking it really slow because it wants to be safe. Okay, and it's stopping here for reasons that I don't know. So I'm just going to push it along. Maybe this piece of cardboard on the road is confusing it, and drive right over it potentially. Yep, it just stopped. It just stopped. It's like, okay, I'm going to stop here. Okay, now I'm going to enter Capitol, the Capitol building, because it's going to be, should be a straight shot up Congress, so y'all can see the sort of Congress in its entirety. It's one of my favorite streets in Austin. I have a fascination with streets. I don't know why. I just really like the buildings and the people and like folks just sitting on the sidewalk, and not sitting on the sidewalk, but you know, sitting on like outdoor dining and stuff. Okay, so here we got people on the left, and we got somebody trying to make a left on the other side. So I push the car along a little bit to try and enter the intersection so that I'm better positioned to make a left. All right, so I'm gonna push the car along because it's turning yellow, and the person behind me is probably really upset at me. Oh no, he made it to the right. Okay, no problem. Yeah, in those situations, so maybe that I got a little impatient and I should have just allowed the car to sit at the line, and if it misses the left turn, it misses the left turn. But, you know, again, I'm going with the principle of I'm going to behave exactly how I would behave with the car, and let's see what the car does, right? I think that's a very fair thing to do. And this person had a left turning signal, but they didn't turn left, so. And I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera. I'm sure you can, but the Capitol building is right ahead of you. Beautiful, beautiful building. Super awesome site coming up Congress. And you have restaurants on either side of the street. You got things going on. People walking around. The one time we were walking downtown, there was a person with a parrot on their shoulder and a vest on, like a leather vest and some like leather pants, and that's it. And the dude was just hanging out, feeding his parrot some like peanuts. That was pretty badass. You know, they have a saying, they say, keep Austin weird. Keep Austin weird. And man, was that weird. That was weird. But it was cool. It was really cool at the same time because it just adds so much character to the city, you know? Would I ever dress like that? No. But do I respect it? Yeah. I think this person's trying to park. And failing, unfortunately. Okay. Oh, succeeded. All right. I'm happy for you. Well done. Okay. Okay, so recognize that there's somebody up here parked right in the middle of the lane, which is just weird. I guess they don't want to block the bike lane, which I understand. All right, so it's moving along with confidence towards the Capitol building. Look at that. How great is that? Everything's bigger in Texas, y'all. That's what they say. All right, and from here, so it's getting on the left lane, but it's on the map it's showing it wants to make a right. So I'm gonna Yeah, I'm just gonna call it done here. Yeah, it went left and then it wants to go back right, which is just odd. So I'm gonna cancel this. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go back to the campus, which was, we started and it was rough going. So, and it wants me to make a right. So I'm just gonna get on the right lane here and turning vehicle, stop for pedestrians. Okay, very good. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a right. And then we're gonna start the sucker up. I'm gonna get on the left lane just to give a little bit of a head start. We got the wheel, off we go. Okay. And I just realized that for the part of the trip, I didn't have it in full view here, so I do apologize, guys, but hopefully you could still see the behavior on the screen. That boy is really fascinated by the camera. It's like, oh my God, is that Elon in the car? How funny would that be? All right. Off we go. Left turning lane here, and we're gonna make a left, so that's good. We're stopping at the intersection. Okay, so yeah, it seems like yeah, weird. Just weird. I don't know how else to describe it. Four-way stop. Is it gonna? Okay, so yeah, we both arrive at the same time, and obviously the car's gonna be careful. So now it's checking to see. It's probably checking to see that there's no traffic coming on the left there because there are parked cars. Okay, no problem. That's, you know, this is the fascinating thing about this software, is because I feel like if every car on the road had this software, especially on well-marked roads, I'm confident there would be way less accidents that we have today. It's in these situations where you introduce a lot of pedestrians and a lot of road work that stuff gets odd, or unmarked roads. That's where it starts getting odd, you know. And another thing I noticed too with the car, which is odd, is it will come to a stop at you know, at like a red light here, and then if I stop right next to a person, you know, where we can kind of see each other in our passenger windows, they always move up. or very often they move up because they don't want, you know, I guess they don't want me to sort of creep into their car or whatever. And I don't know if that's something that and I find myself naturally doing it when I'm driving around. I never stop right next to a person. I always give them a little bit of privacy, right? I'm like, okay, I don't want to. It's almost like staggering. The cars are staggered. It's fascinating. It's human behavior, you know. It's what. Oh, see, that was a person on the sidewalk, and the car suddenly stopped, but now it's going really slow. What's going on here? It's a weird road. Two pylons here. This person, I just stopped because I don't know what the hell is. That road was very confusing. Okay, I'm gonna turn this back on. Sorry, guys. I just didn't know what the fuck's going on. What the hell is this? Okay, so apparently we got to get on the right lane, and it's definitely not gonna happen. So I'm not gonna let it do it because, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, that's just weird. That's just weird. Now, if I had the map on, maybe I would have had a better chance at. No, because it was just straight. Yeah, I don't know. Again, just a weird road situation that's not obvious that up there is going to be your right turn. Interesting. Okay. So I'm going to drive past this intersection so it can reroute itself to a different route, and then we'll hit the road again. Lots of traffic. It's got to be all the kids, I call them kids, they're all adults here, coming out of school. Everybody's leaving, which is, again, a good, you see, this road's weird, right? So there's not a lot of markings. Again, we're entering sort of the campus, and I don't know the car's confused. Let me see what's going on. Did it reroute? Yeah, okay, it rerouted. Maybe it still thought it was going the old way. Okay. So I'm going to pay a lot of attention here, because we are entering campus, and campus was giving us a little bit of trouble here. It wants to make a right. Why? Okay. I'm going to push the car along. Thank you. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys can see, but there is a yellow lane on the road, double lane, and there's guys parked on the road, but because of how they're encroaching into the lane, most people have to encroach the middle of the lane. It's just not a well-marked road, unfortunately. But again, everybody else is able to navigate it with little to no issues. And so let's see if the car, yeah. So the car's entering the intersection nicely, taking its time. Very good. Yeah, and so here, like, we're kind of riding the middle lane. Folks tend to be more on the right side. Again, just an unspoken rule of humans, I guess. Okay, let's see if it goes up to the stop sign here. Very good. Let's see how it decides to go. So that guy's going straight. That guy's crossing the road. That guy's going to go right. Okay, come on. Come on. I didn't push it yet. I'm going to push it along. Yeah, so like that right there is, yeah. Again, pedestrians are around. I'm not, okay, so someone's exiting a parking lot. Let's see if it recognizes that. Okay, I would have stopped, but since the person stopped, I guess the car decided to keep going because it has the right of way technically. Okay. So we're going 17, which the speed limit here is 15. So I'm going to crank it up to 20. And then it says we've essentially arrived. We're 100 feet away from Texas. Okay. University of Texas, Austin. Okay. So I'm just going to stop it here. Why would they? This is a weird spot to label your address. Anyway. Okay. So I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. I'm going to pull over, turn off these cameras, and yeah, just put this together for y'all. So in summary, there were definitely some very good things the car did. Like, the one thing I remember was going around the bicyclist on the road, which was very good behavior. There were a couple other things too that I can't recall exactly that I was pretty happy with. The things that stood out for me from an exception perspective is definitely when the car seems to be in heavily populated areas with pedestrians. It's very, very hesitant, which I'm not mad about. It also, on roads that are not well marked, it can behave erratically, which if the car is reliant on road markings, then that's, obviously, it's hard to say that the car is at fault there when the road's not well marked. But the thing that the car has to figure out, which Elon has talked about himself, is that even if an alien lands in the middle of the road, on a spaceship, the car needs to know what to do. So that situation on the Texas campus obviously is going to be something that I'm more than confident Tesla will improve on for sure. It's not that there was anything there that was super, super worrisome. It's just erratic behavior, very abnormal. That Model 3 looked nice. Look at that paint. But yeah, I'm gonna pull over here, y'all. I'm gonna pull over right here, actually. Excuse me. Very good. I'm gonna pull over, wrap it up, go home, edit the sucker together, and get it out to y'all. Thank you very much. We'll see you in a bit. Bye-bye.